Hey kids, what's going on? Thanks for watching. We've got lots of Week 4 storylines. Of course, I will record 5 podcasts this week alone to talk about every single game. I watched the film of every game, talk about what I saw. Go to harrisfootball.com. The podcast is free. On this YouTube show today, also free, let's talk about some of the surprising and interesting and frustrating storylines from Week 4. I think we get started with Saquon Barkley's replacement, Wayne Gallman. We're just going to cycle through his highlights to get a representative sample because Gallman scored 2 touchdowns. This was the first. Congratulations, you have a body. Nobody's covering you. It wound up being 22 standard fantasy points, 28 PPR. He touched the ball 24 times, albeit against a bad Washington team. I thought this cut to the outside, not what you'd call electric, but good vision to see the edge open up. Really bad contained by Washington, but pretty okay straight line speed when Gallman gets going and gets face masked there at the end. Subsequent play, here he is trying to jump over the pile and getting rejected like Mutombo is playing defense. But a couple plays later, they stick with him, and Gallman shows pretty good power to bang in his second touchdown. End of the first half, a screen on a 2nd and long. I think what we learned Sunday is that Gallman probably doesn't have elite quicks or acceleration, but he's okay in those areas. And strength, I think he has some. He breaks a tackle here down the left sideline, gets a first down. First play of the second half, again, I thought showing real and legit power on this up-the-middle carry. This run, you can see him try and put together moves. I think he does. It displays some vision here. The moves themselves, maybe a little ponderous, but a solid run. They did try splitting him out wide. They threw him one down the field. That is, I don't know. Did you lose it in the sun, kid? I don't know. Clearly, maybe not the most natural thing for Wayne Gallman. And then, of course, like a donkey, he had to fumble in garbage time. Highly doubt if it gets held against him going forward, though Elijah Penny did get in there for some carries after this play. So things are going to get harder the next 2 weeks. Home Minnesota, at New England. Gallman played a lot and was probably solid, probably not more than that. And yet I think you'll hear people saying, why bother drafting Saquon Barkley? Why bother paying Saquon Barkley? This guy's just as good. Numbers aren't going to tell you everything, kids, but certainly Gallman has worked himself into RB2 or at least flex consideration these next couple games. We will be back in a second. We will cycle through a few more Sunday topics, including A.J. Brown and Josh Allen. We're sponsored by Mott & Bow. They're the makers of my favorite jeans in the world. Great craftsmanship, handmade designer jeans without the designer price. I never used to care about designer jeans till I got my first pair, and then holy mackerel, I care now. They're broken in on your first wearing. They look great. They're so soft. Most importantly, they will last you multiple times longer than cheap department store jeans. We can get you 15% off your first pair. I think you'll love them. Click the link below. Copy the promo code that results. Boom, 15% off. They're great supporters of this show, and you will love their jeans. Okay, A.J. Brown, going to be a name on a lot of people's lips after he scored twice Sunday, racked up 94 yards. This was the first touchdown. I think what's going to be fun about these 2 touchdowns is that they aren't the same. This is the first one, and there's really not that much to it from a play calling perspective. You can see a pretty easy little square in that's just meant to get Marcus Mariota sort of going a little bit. It's 3 minutes into the game. I think what we take note of for the touchdown is this is a big man to be running pretty fast once he gets going. Obviously, terrible tackling, but still, we'll take it. And then here's the second, really not the same at all. If we freeze it before it begins, so that's Brown up at the top of the screen, one-on-one against Desmond Trufant. This will be less about open field running or bad tackling or whatever, raw athletic gifts. That is a perfect throw, but it's also a pretty great release at the snap. And then kind of a veteran-looking little push-off in the end zone and really good body control as the ball's thrown a little bit behind him. Yeah, those 2 plays, I think you look at it and say you're onto something. And we'll just show you this last one because it's the only other target or catch that A.J. Brown had all day. There's nothing really to this one other than pretty bad defense. But watching those first two plays, is A.J. Brown a must-add? I think no, not a must-add. The Titans are just too erratic week to week on offense. But all the things we wish Corey Davis was showing us on a regular basis, I think we just file away that Mr. Brown is a name. Okay, let's have him on the Rolodex and see how the Titans shape up as the second month of the season gets going. All right, next up, I wanted to just cycle through some Josh Allen throws and talk about Josh Allen a little bit. Against the Patriots, a very winnable game, as it turned out. Boy, Allen was terrible throwing the ball. It's almost hard to believe how bad he was. And when people ask me, hey, why aren't you ranking Josh Allen higher? Doesn't he have a pretty safe floor, considering in any given week he can certainly run for a touchdown? And I say, listen, I think that's why the ceiling is high, right? But the floor is so low because the kid is just inaccurate and doesn't see it. He's wild. He throws it to the wrong people. He's out of control. Now, he also had to leave this game after a helmet-to-helmet hit, and Matt Barkley had to finish it out. But Allen still had 34 dropbacks. It was mid-fourth quarter when he got hurt. He still had 28 attempts and 3 interceptions and a fumble he was clueless about and lucky not to lose, and multiple sacks taken to remove Buffalo from field goal range. He got you 6 fantasy points from the 1-yard rushing touchdown Sunday and right around 3 fantasy points from everything else. He's real bad at being a quarterback right now. I hope he's okay. If he gets cleared in time for Week 5 at Tennessee, that's a real hard matchup. So I'm just going to repeat what I always say about Josh Allen. There's no question the running gives him real upside, but he has the scariest downside of any quarterback out there. And then lastly, just one more play. One Keenan Allen play. Allen was probably the consensus number 1 receiver for Week 4 and disappointed. There's no two ways about it. But how about this horse poop? Allen had a 70-yard touchdown, a play that was going to make our weeks, and it got called back for offensive interference. And kids, if that's offensive interference, I really am dating Adrian Pilecki. I just wanted to show you this vexing moment from my Sunday. So when you wonder what happened to Keenan Allen, you'll know you got robbed. Okay, anyway, there are some Week 4 fantasy football highlights for you on a Monday morning. We'll be back later today on the channel with a waiver show. And of course, check out the podcast. Also, we want to know, what were your favorite moments from Week 4? Hit us up down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.